Welcome everyone to the Blacks in Technology Bit Tech Talk podcast, a show where we talk to Black people who are engineers, innovators, educators, inventors, changemakers, and entrepreneurs doing amazing things in the world of technology. The Bit Tech Talk podcast is where they show how they are stomping the divide by sharing their stories, experiences, ideas, knowledge, and perspective on tech with the Bit community.
Welcome, everybody, to the Blacks in Technology Bit Tech Talk podcast. I'm your host, Greg Greenlee, and today our guest is Marlaina Love. Marlaina is the Twin Cities chapter president of the Blacks in Technology, other chapter president of Twin Cities in Blacks in Technology Foundation. I'm messing that all up. But she is also the founder and the CEO of Pipe Dream Ventures. It's a Web3 venture studio committed to helping visionaries transform innovative concepts into fundable, scalable market solutions. She has over 7 years of corporate leadership experience with a reputation for strategic leadership and effectively guiding high-profile global cross-functional software teams. She's also at the forefront of the digital revolution, which we're going to get into, and her presence is felt in the Web3, blockchain, and XR ecosystem, which she's known for immersive storytelling through digital arts, technology, and culture. Welcome to the show, Marlaina. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Hoping I can live up to all of that.
I'm pretty sure you can. You're pretty dope. So yeah, so let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like kind of where you're from. What your background is, your education.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for the opportunity to speak today into the podcast. Very excited. I feel like it's been a while since I've been on any platform. So excited to just get back into it. So I would say that I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. How I got up north is a story for the books. Most of it was job related. So I've been in Minnesota since 2018. July of 2018, after I was expecting a career change at that point. And it's been a journey. I've been working in project management for the past 17 years, like you said. But the interesting part, I've always been passionate about entrepreneurship and innovation. And so what's unique about my career is that I'm always in a new role, a new company, trying to find that it. Like, what's my place? What's my spot? And about 2 years ago, out of curiosity, I picked up a headset, an Oculus 2, and that's where I kind of found my calling. I've been a virtual reality creator in the metaverse where I build immersive worlds and environments. I started it for my startup, but I found a community that allowed me to just tap back into my artistry as a creator and to go back on that path as an entrepreneur. So since then, I think for a whole year, I just been in the metaverse, just growing my brand, my community, and revamp my business, Pipe Dream Ventures, my Web3 community, the Diamond Resilience. And I think I now have a following of 400 people. And I've also made my first income through my venture in the metaverse. And I just been meeting a lot of amazing people that allow me to really find my place, which is immersive storytelling through digital art, tech, and culture. So when I'm not looking at a project plan all day, I just put on my headset and I'm literally my character, Boss Leo. And I feel like I'm changing the world in the metaverse scene and doing a lot of work in that area.
That's pretty, very interesting. We're gonna dive into that a little bit more later because I want to know more about it. It's funny, I'm an engineer, so I deal more with kind of like the building of infrastructure for software to run on and things like that, and not so much, I guess, on the cutting edge kind of other things, right? Like Web3, metaverse, like all that stuff. I don't know a lot about. So I'm really, really interested in hearing more about what that is and how you are interacting with it and how you're building a business from it. But first, let's talk about like your career journey. You say you've been like in a project management space for quite a number of years. Tell us about how you got started in that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would have to say it goes down to your network. I feel like the saying, your network is your net worth, and that is true for me. I had a friend that I met in college who just recommended me for an internship. And they said, hey, I think it'd be a good opportunity for you. You're out here in Memphis. I think you need to go out, travel, and expand your horizons. And I'm like, okay, sure. And they said Minnesota. I'm like, what's in Minnesota? That was my first reaction.
There's a lot in
I'm like,
Minnesota, actually. Yeah.
I know, right? So I'm like, I had the most cliche question ever. Like, is there actually Black people there? Like, I don't never really hear about people up north. So it was new for me. So I would say that just that network, that connection, really changed the game for me. It allowed me to, I took an internship in the summer of 2014, and that's when I got paid to come out to Minnesota, work as a business analyst. And I really liked it. I liked the opportunity. So I came back another summertime. And fun fact, despite of like all of my involvement and accomplishments and internships I had, I did not get one job offer in my home city. So I really had no choice but to relocate, and that offer came from my internship, except that it was in Columbus, Indiana. And it was as a project manager, which I had no idea what that was at the time, but I found out very quickly what that was. So I think the first 4 years of my career, I've been letting others decide it for me, my managers deciding my path. I said that, hey, if they say that you're a project manager, then that's what I was going to do. When I look for roles, they said you're a coordinator, you're a project manager, and I've been doing that. And there's always been a disconnect for me into that role. I just never seemed to find the right fit, the right culture. And so it kind of started a journey for me where I just been going from different companies, different cultures, just trying to figure out that career path for me. And only just now, like 2 years ago, I really would say last year, I just finally found my spot, my niche where I excel.
Excellent, excellent. And tell us kind of what is that spot now for you?
Absolutely. So for me, it's going back into my roots as being an artist. Although I worked as a project manager for the past 8 years, for the past 15 years, even in high school, I've always been a designer. I think I did my first side gig as a website designer, graphic designer for local businesses in Memphis, and I never deviated from that. And so I would say when I started in the metaverse, just learning how to build worlds with shapes, it just allowed me to expand what all I could do with this technology, that I could build an environment for people to enjoy and to see it come to life and interact with it. And I just wanted to pursue that. I would say that doing the work in Blacks in Tech, I realized that we're natural artists, we're creatives in general. But some of the things that we struggle with in the workplace is culture. So after having some few conversations and seeing that huge gap when it comes to technology, it just clicked for me and said, that's it. You're controlling narratives. You're telling stories, and you're doing that through art, tech, and culture. And I just so happened to stumble across virtual reality that has allowed me to just open doors for myself that would you typically be hard in the real world because of what? Money, access to people, opportunities, where in the metaverse, I have no limitations. I just literally create a world, set a goal, and I just put it out in the world. So it gave me that booster to say, like, this is it. People like this. People want this. Let's continue to do it.
That's interesting. Let's dive into that a little bit more. You're the CEO of Pipe Dream Ventures, I should say. Sorry about that. What is Web3, right? And kind of tell us a little bit about what your company does within that Web3 technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to think of Web3 as the next generation of the internet. It's mostly focused on blockchain technology, but the key word here is decentralization, where we as the people have more control, more ownership over our data, our identity, our content, asset. Like we have more visibility to that. And beyond that, I'm still learning about Web3. There's so many parts of that. I just found an area which is extended reality that takes it to the next level because I think there's this big debate going on between whether we're in a bear market or a bull market when it comes to Web3, blockchain, and crypto, which all says that we're still early. And that's what makes us pioneers in this space. Like we have the power to really shape where the next generation of this internet to go. I just so happened to find virtual reality as that first step for me. And so when we think about Pipe Dream Ventures, we help businesses and brands typically onboard into Web3 because it's still so new and people are still figuring out like, where can I even start a career in this space? Or how can I start a business? Or what can I do? And we're in that part where people need to first get educated about it and feel safe, because the last thing we want, which you're probably already seeing, is that all the issues that we're currently seeing in Web 2, Web 1, social media is just going to continue to carry over into Web 3. And so I like to leverage my brand and my business to build a culture and environment to Web 3 that really sets the blueprint of how you do business and how you create in here and creating that opportunity for others.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. So I'm a business and I want to, expand my business into the Web3, I guess, market. What's that process look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're either looking to do one or two things, right? You're either looking to expand a brand or a business you already have, or you're just looking to build in this space, which I have clients on both sides. And most importantly, we're in a whole digital creator economy where it's more like, how do I build a brand? So when I think of this, not just Web3, I just talk from the area where I'm most dominant in, which is just the immersive technology, extended reality. I'd like to look at this as social media, almost like the social, like Instagram, Facebook, except that you have a virtual environment that allows you to connect with your audience on a different level. So let's say you have this podcast. This is a really great example here. Although you and I are talking on this website, we could do this exact same conversation within a virtual world environment with a cool design, which I have called the Diamond Lounge. The same audio, we have a live audience looking at us. It's almost like you're at a talk show in real life, but you get to connect with people and ask questions, and the audio is just clear. So it's really taking like, how can you connect and communicate in a way with other people that brings you together? And that's what I like about it here, is that I have met people from all over the world, from Dubai, from the UK, from Atlanta. And it's not just meeting. These are people that I've actually like collaborated, partnered with, made substantial income with. And some of them are my clients. People that I probably would see outside, would never talk to a day of my life, but we were able to work together to our common goals. So that's what it allows you to do. I've seen some commercial business. They were able to expand their stores. So if you have like a hair salon and you're just looking to just have a representation or a digital clone of that in the metaverse, you can do that. And you have a global network of people who come and see your store versus you're paying probably like what, anywhere between 20 to 100K to get the real estate for it, to get the loan and all of that, when you can literally just say, hey, I want to sell my products. Let me build a store in a week. Let me have a lunch party. And next thing you know, I have like 20 people buying my product on the week, the first week. So that's what's possible in this space.
BIT is always focused on forming new partnerships and opportunities to assist the community and our members with their continued professional growth and development. If you'd like to partner with us, send an email, inquiries@blacksandtechnology.net.
So that's what is considered like extended reality. Your example of like this podcast and kind of having like a in studio type feeling with an audience, and I'm doing it live and I'm doing it real here. And then the metaverse, it's still live, it's still everything, but it's within the metaverse, and it's now I have eyes on it from all across the world, could be. And it's done within this environment that's a lot more, I guess, glamorous than my orange whiteboard back there, right?
Yeah, that's really what it is. It get to be a space that you get to create. I know, like right now, I'm working with a client who is a community tech hub, right? And right now we're local, where we have students that come in person to the tech hub to learn about all the amazing resources that we have. And we're able to like bring that into the metaverse, where you get to access all students from all around the world. Most of them are from the UK, so I say UK a lot, or Australia, but you get to expand your reach to a broader audience because they're liking what you have. So I like to tell people, think of virtual reality, mixed reality, almost like a website for yourself, of like, hey, I know you see this cute website that I've done, but come inside and immerse inside of it. Now, I've seen more than just business too. What I really love for this Web3 environment is the support for the artists. For years, we always said that we have the starving artists. You don't get paid. Like, I've seen people come here change the game for musicians who was able to create their own merch store, build their fan base. I've seen artists who are so talented. Like, I don't know to this day how they're able to take a big square and a cube and like a circle, and just build a nice statue that tells a story. And a lot of people get to come into that art piece and experience it. So it's like another way of experiencing the emotions of a person's artwork, and they actually get paid for it and they monetize on that. So it's a really way to connect with your audience and tell your story for people to feel that.
Have you seen record companies like labels kind of embracing this technology more? Because typically in that industry, you kind of have like the gatekeepers, right? And doing things like with extended reality in the multiverse, it does allow that decentralization of essentially power, right? So now you don't have these, your large record labels and things like that gatekeeping and keeping artists from not only getting paid, but doing the actual art that they really want to do, right? Record labels are good at like controlling and directing what they want you to put out, and if they don't like it, that's just not going. But when you start decentralizing that and you give more power back to the artists, right? Then the artists are free and able to be themselves. What I'm wondering is, how are these record companies, or if you've seen record companies utilize Web3 and embrace this new technology?
I haven't seen companies yet, but this is not to say that they're not probably already doing it and figuring out. There's always that, because we're early, right? I like to think of this like Snapchat. It was all cool and fun until they start adding in all this advertisement and companies. And there's no doubt that it's going to go that same way here too. But I want to go back to that keyword, like the power of the people, the whole thing of decentralization, and where companies will continue to fail is that a lot of people come into the metaverse and myself included, when I first started out, they come in here and they're like, how can I make a quick buck? How can I be transactional? And a lot of people who come to the metaverse don't come here to be sold to. They come to connect. They come to escape their reality because it is a challenge. But what we all say is that we came here to the escape, but we didn't really know how powerful the community is. And that is a big word in Web3, is that it's power in the community. Like, you have to nurture your community. You have to give value to your community, because when you're here just transactional and trying to make money, you're not going to succeed. Because although companies can be labels, to be quite honest, and we're seeing it with AI, there's really no need for pretty much Hollywood. It's going to be non-existent. Like, there's no really true celebrities. They're competing with regular people like you and I. In fact, I've seen successful indie studios. Like, I have this crazy video that I shared on Instagram of a local girl. I think she was from Illinois. And I just came in
Mm-hmm.
on a whole battle rap scene. I felt like I was on MTV and everything. And these are
Are you saying
artists
you
who
battle rap?
I don't battle rap, but they
Oh,
were.
okay.
But I felt like I was a part of MTV, just watching it front action as
Oh,
she's
gotcha. Yeah,
on the mic, and the person behind that world was actually a producer in the studio. So I see more opportunity for those who produce music. I've seen opportunities for those who are artists. Like, we even had a 14-year-old just in there rapping, flowing, and the community was encouraging him, like, keep going, spit the bars. And a lot of people were getting a representation. In fact, I think this was 2 weeks ago. It was this guy's first day in his headset, and he was just still trying to figure out how to move around. And I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" We was at like a virtual networking party, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm an artist." I forgot what he said he was from, but he's like, "Yeah, I'm an artist. I'm a signed artist, and just trying to see what we can do." And I'm like, "Oh, I think I can connect you with some people." I brought him into the whole studio with like 20 other musical artists, where he was just able to come in and just start doing what he do best, got connected to people from LA to Atlanta, and was like rapping with them, connecting with them, like planning like dates together. And I have one girl who's a musician, and she's building her whole team of artists, and she's bringing them from all around the world as a part of like her whole like artist community. And she's changing the game for them. Like, she's showing them like, you can really make money here. Like, you don't have to be signed. Like, you can grow a community and have people experience your music and your artistry. So it definitely changed the game. And I see for producers, if you have beats, you're trying to get yourself out there, you can build a world with all of your beats on it, and people just like to sing and rap to it.
What's up, everyone? We hope that you're enjoying this episode of the Blacks in Technology Big Tech Talk podcast. Do you or someone you know have a dope story that they want to share with our bit audience? Blacks in Technology is seeking guests to be on our podcast. We're looking to highlight the journeys and experiences of Black women and men in the tech industry. So if you know of someone, send them our way. Shoot us an email to contact us at blacksintechnology.net, or click on the link in the show notes and fill out our form. We're looking to hear from you. I've seen in the music industry how it's gone from, this state of you early on, you had to be huge, or even within the local scene. Let's start there. In the local scene, you had to find, let's just say you're not a producer, a music producer. So you had to go and you had to find somebody. Then you had to have them believe in, kind of what you were doing as far as, lyrics and music and things like that, and your vision. Then you have to connect, and then you have to find time to go in the studio, and the studio is always owned by somebody else, and time is booked up, and blah blah blah. And then in order for your music to be distributed, unless you're out like hand to hand selling mixtapes or mix CDs or whatever, you had to go that route of a record label, and then you have to deal with them and shady contracts and distribution deals and all this stuff. Those were the gatekeepers. And then all of a sudden there was this transition where you had places like CD Baby, and you had these other ways that you can distribute your music, right? That you can these online distribution outlets, right? CD Baby is one of them. There's a few other ones out there. Can't even remember the names. Then you went from that to streaming, right? That kind of cut a lot of that nonsense out, right? Like, so
Yeah.
not totally, but some of it, like gatekeepers and things like that, and people get access to your music. Because even with CD Baby, um, they would press up your CDs and things like that. But you still had to get them in the record stores and all that stuff. This is when record stores are really popping. I don't even know if there's record stores anymore besides ones that sell like vintage vinyl. Um, and now you've got streaming, and even there are gatekeepers there. And no offense to any of the one, but the YouTube Music, Spotify, all those, like Apple, like all those, there's still a level of gatekeeping that happens there. Now, the evolution of technology and everything like that, you have the metaverse. Now that gatekeeping stuff is kind of fall to the wayside. So you can get your stuff direct to people. You can connect with people from all over. Now you don't have to, scour your local area just to find, beat makers. Now it's, people that have virtual studios that you can, like, that stuff is really, really cool. And it really shows like the evolution of technology as a whole. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree on
So
that.
tell me some, yeah. So what other interesting, like besides like this, the music, some of the art, what other ideas and concepts that you seen like within that space that you feel is really transformative?
Yeah, so I definitely want to revisit that gatekeeping, because even here, in the metaverse, you still have people that like to gatekeep. But I think what's really valuable is going back to the community piece, especially with creators like myself. So that's something I do with Pipe Dream Ventures. And I launch an initiative called The Exchange. And this is a platform, a world that I created, and a platform where I bring creators, usually 4 to 5 creators, together every month. This month we'll be doing blockchain and crypto, and it's a program where for 4 weeks I get to work with those creators, and we get to learn, not 4 months, 4 weeks. I work with those creators, and we try to tap in and see like what can they do with their current passion, their hobbies? How can we turn it into like a brand, a service offering? And the fourth Friday of that month, they have an opportunity to tell their story to the world. So we have a tagline that we use called Transforming Stories of Resilience into Impactful Ventures. And through this exchange, I call it more of a value exchange. Each of these creators within the same industry, they have to exchange it with each other, like a white elephant party, actually. Because that's where it really came from, a white elephant party where we exchange gifts with each other. Because a lot of the artists, the creators in this space was so new, and you have a lot of people that really won't show you the way, or they try to gatekeep. And so being a part of my community in exchange really breaks that for them, where they're able to say, hey, I'm a developer, I'm a scripter, or I'm into blockchain and I do courses. You get to take that to someone who actually looking for that service for you. And so you got a chance to connect that way there. So I would say that those are kind of the opportunities there, is to connect with people to help grow what you're doing and really get exposure. And that's how we break the ice there with that onboarding there. But what I really love the most for the opportunities, I say it all the time, is the ease of access and the time to market. It's unmatched. Like you have an idea on Monday and you launch on Friday. And I have to admit, it freaked me out. I think I was freaked out for like 3 to 6 months because I'm one of those people that I have New Year resolutions. And then at the end of the year, I was like, yeah, I didn't do none of that. I didn't hit not one goal. But what tricked me out a little bit was that everything I said I wanted to do, it somehow happened that I was doing it. And my friend had reminded me, like, we're actually doing everything we said we wanted to do here. And I was like, you're actually right. Like, I'm doing it. And I'm not used to, I'm always used to saying, like, I need to do this or I haven't done that. It's like you have an idea, you act on it. Time is fast. In fact, last year, I did an entire 2-day metaverse summit out on my own there. Like I brought in, I think, over 20 speakers, creators. I did a $2,000 pitch competition, and I did that in less than 3 months. No funding and nothing, and we're coming back doing it again. And we got some even amazing creators, and now we're launching a hackathon. It's no longer like, okay, we need to plan this out 12 months, 6 months out. It's more of like, hey, I have an idea. I want to collaborate with you. Let's market 3 weeks out. Let's do it. Let's split profits. And that's how it goes here. So it's a space that whatever ideas that you have, whatever that you think you want to do, you can do it. And if it doesn't work out, it just didn't work out because you have already tested it and you validated it in this metaverse. And that is what I'm doing with Pipe Dream Ventures. I just give people like an opportunity, like, let's see what you can do. Like, what are you passionate about? And let's just see if it works. And if it doesn't work after 4 weeks, let's try it again. So I actually have one person who's more like you, actually. You reminded me of him. He have his own, he's a developer. He built mobile apps. And he just so happened to got interested in developing for virtual reality and mixed reality. And so he's like, hey, I'm trying to tap in. Like, I see the opportunity, but I don't know what to do. And so he was a part of the showcase. He had a chance to speak, I think, on 4 shows already. I got him booked for another important show called Crypto City. And he's getting ready to launch his world and his business through the metaverse in 2 weeks through a nice, fun game called Exact Madness, where it's like Shark Tank and March Madness, but a chance for the community to see what he's doing. And it's not something typical like, here's an event, show up, let me build a world or an app for you. It's more of like, here's something of value. Like, come to this competition. The winner will get a free mixed reality app built for them. And so these are just one of the many creators that I work with to just really bring that into reality.
That's pretty cool. I need to explore this a little bit more. I find myself getting so busy with a lot of stuff. Like when new technology comes out, and I know Web3 and Metaverse and things like that have been out for a while, but it's still really new, right? As far as people utilizing and things like that. And I don't know. I guess I'm more of let me wait and see what happens with this first. But I think I'm going to have to dive into it. But tell people if they want to get involved, how do they get started?
Yeah, absolutely. The most simple way is to just dive in, like get a headset and just tap into the community, see what other people are doing. They can follow me. Well, my Love Marlaina accounts is not really Web3 friendly. I actually have an avatar called bossleo.io and my Web3 community, the Diamond Resilience. And I take a journalistic approach to like sharing like what all these amazing things people are doing, from like working with a person. We're producing a metaverse reality series similar to the shows you see in Atlanta, but with creators there. So that's actually getting ready to come out.
Hopefully,
It's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna have some drama in it for sure, because you can't escape drama
oh
anywhere you go.
boy, right.
So it's gonna be raw, and we have some really good creators that we're gonna put on there. Like, you guys are avatars really arguing.
Well, at least
Like,
nobody
yeah,
can get
it has.
physically hurt. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I would say one of the best things to do it, like I just say, I give the same advice a person told me, like, just explore and see where it goes. If you're looking to like do a career in this space, I always go on LinkedIn and I follow hashtags. Like, I always like to say hashtag virtual reality, hashtag mixed reality, hashtag metaverse. And I like to see, like, who are some of the key players, the key influencers, the companies. That's how I stay informed on LinkedIn. At least I want to know, like, what's going on, what jobs are happening, what conversations are happening. Because although that this technology is really important, we have to think about it from a safety standpoint, the sustainable standpoint. Like, when we're thinking about, like, are we giving up our access, and we're saying that we're doing a lot of transparency here, but how much is too transparency here?
Right.
And monopoly, who really owns the metaverse, or do you own it? And especially as an artist, how do you protect yourself in a world where it's so easy to copy, duplicate? Like, how are you protecting yourself? Do you really own that? So there's a lot of conversations to be had, and I employ people to follow that, but follow key people who are tapped into the industries, into the industry, to learn more about it. And I like to also go to the companies. So I'm always looking at Meta, seeing what they're doing. Apple has finally entered the chat, so I'm always keeping up to date with them, seeing what they're doing and what other companies are doing as well.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing how they're going to solve some of those, I guess, kind of fundamental problems of privacy, of security from the standpoint of in a metaverse. And I don't know, I haven't been in it. It seems to me like it would be more wide open, right? Like you don't, and it could be like, what regulations are going to come with that, if any? It being decentralized, like how do you start to regulate certain things? For instance, you don't want a 14-year-old coming in there and being able to like look at stuff that's inappropriate for a 14-year-old. Things like that, or younger. So how are they going to go about putting safeguards in place? And even when it comes to just standard stuff between women and men, like women get harassed. Like, how are they going to safeguard against people doing that?
Absolutely.
I don't know what the term is, but I guess it would be like metaverse stalking or whatever. Like so those types of things, I'd like to see, like, how come forth with how they're going to deal with some of those issues. So that'd be interesting.
Do you have a product or service that you would like to share with the BIT audience? Or maybe you'd like to support the BIT community and do your part in helping us with stomping the divide? Start by sponsoring one of our podcasts. Please email us at contactus@blacksintechnology.net.
I said I have stories on stuff about those experiences, and to be honest with you, been with Meta in here, it's like they're not really prioritizing that, unfortunately. And so we can have the podcast, the conversations, but it really gonna boil down to the community and themselves. And at least the community, I'm tapped into it. We had to take it into our own hands. Like, I think for Juneteenth, me and a lot of high value creators who's like really known in this space, we're coming together to create a creator code of conduct, because we're not getting that from the creators themselves. I mean, the makers themselves. So we're creating a code of conduct, a coalition, if you call it, of how we can build a safer community for all of us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let the community kind of step forward and handle these issues. So let's go from one amazing journey in your life to another involving Bit. Uh, as I mentioned earlier, you are the chapter president of the Twin Cities chapter of the Bit Foundation. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that, and kind of let's start with how did you first hear about Bit, and then tell us a little bit about how you first became involved in Bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first time I heard about Bid is when a friend from college was telling me about a conference here in Minnesota. And of
Okay,
course,
yeah.
probably like most people, I thought it was Bitcoin and I didn't want nothing to do with it. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing it. He's like, you're black and you're in tech. I'm like, no, not. So
We've had that
I
confusion
ended up
before.
going like I think 2 weeks before I find out about it. And I'm like, well, you know what? It's not that expensive. So I go check it out. It seems interesting. It's a conference. He said it was Bitcoin. And believe it or not, that was when I met a mentor that I still have now as my mentor. Her name is Dr.
Okay,
Elizabeth Adams. She's now in
okay.
Atlanta. She's the one that kind of jump started all of this for me. It started with her, really. Like, she was the one who gave me that permission to just go crazy with it. And I still talk to her. So that was my first exposure to bed. And then I think I was
Mhm.
at a period in my life that I felt like I was doing a lot of Black power movements, and I just got tapped out from that. I was burnt out
Mhm.
from always trying to uplift our community and the setbacks. And I took a break from like Black equity movements. And I think her name was Dr. Timit Gerbu from Google. She was laid off from Google because she was challenging their ethics. And everything that she was saying in Twitter and on LinkedIn during that period, I was like, yes, sister, like I feel it. Like, yes, I go through this in corporate. And
Yeah.
it just kind of reignited that fire inside of me to say, you know what, I need to come out of sleep mode and I need to get back involved because I've been uninvolved in a community for like 4 years, I believe, at the time.
Hmm.
And so I that's when I was looking around Minneapolis to see like what organizations exist. And I remember I went to
Okay.
BitCon, and that's when I was looking on the website, and I just filled it out. So I'm like, okay, I remember there's a Blacks in Tech. Let me reach out. And Dennis was like, yeah, we don't have a president, but if you interested, I was like, that is me to always step into a leadership position. So I was like, so that's how I got involved. I was like, well, he said it's open. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I got
Shout out.
involved since then.
Okay. Shout out to Dennis Schultz. That's our executive director of Bit Foundation, and we're happy to have you. You're always super involved, and anything that we're doing from a national standpoint, not just a local standpoint. So I want to thank you for that, definitely. But I know you're doing a lot locally as well. Tell us, a little bit about if there's other people that are involved in the Twin Cities chapters. Give us their names and their roles. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with everything else that we're definitely in a restructuring period with our
Okay.
chapter, but I do want to highlight one member that's been really consistent and involved with me. Her name is Samara. And what I love about her and a lot of people I have met, she's a connector. She connects with people, the community, and bring exposure. We did have a long term advisor, Steve Buchanan from Microsoft,
Oh,
who's really
Steve.
opened
Yeah. Yeah.
doors. He done amazing work for our chapter, bringing that awareness and also extending that partnership with Microsoft when we needed just a space to have our meetings in. And we do work in the community with the Tech Hub and it just really creating career pathways for non-traditional talent. And so we both are sitting on a board representing Blacks in Tech and really creating that career pathways here in the Twin Cities.
That's dope. And shout out to Steve has been involved with Bit. And I say involved, he's been involved in the community for quite a while now. And every time, the first two times we had BitCon up in the Twin Cities, he came both times. We hung out a little bit, and he just hit me up on Slack the other day, just to say what's up and how things going and things like that. He's a really really genuine guy, super smart, and he's climbed the ranks of in technology as well. I know he was a consultant for a consultancy doing like a lot of Microsoft Azure stuff, and now he's working for Microsoft. So that's really cool, and he's just really a cool person. So shout out to Steve Buchanan.
Yeah, big shout out to him.
You've been, yeah, he's cool. So you've been the Twin Cities chapter president for how long now?
It's almost 3 years now, right?
3 years.
Because I started December 2020.
So, okay, yeah.
So granted
Nice.
to that math,
And so-
like the math is it math?
Yeah, we're going up. We're coming up on 3.5 years. It's been. So, what inspires you to continue to not only be a leader, but inspires you to continue along with the BIT mission and vision?
Yeah, that's a really good question because it does get hard, and I explain even to my leadership team, like it's a commitment. Even though it's a nonprofit, we're having time. Like you have to put in work here, and I think one lady, she said it best when I was working on a contract, and I was asking her, I'm like, you're obviously successful. You're dealing with this type of culture. It's like, why are you here? And she said that you have to, because as a woman, as a Black woman, you have to pave the way for others. And that really stuck with me because it's much time I'm like, man, this is too much. I need to take a break. And sometimes I do take a break. I don't leave because it's like there's so much work to do. There's so many problems to do. And it's like we have to keep going. We have to create those pathways. We have to create opportunities. No one else is going to give us access and opportunity. We have to be ones to create that access and opportunities. So that's what keep me going, is that I know that with everything that I have done so far, I know another person can benefit off of that, and they can have access and opportunity because of that.
That just inspired me.
Established featured partnerships and programs with companies such as Amazon, AT&T, CompTIA, Techstars, and more to provide our members with the resources we want and need to thrive and succeed in this tech ecosystem. To learn more, visit foundation.blacksintechnology.net. Join now, and remember, membership is free.
I love hearing. No, seriously, because like it is tough. You as a volunteer, there's not like pay or anything like that, and you're giving your time and your energy, and even in my position as a founder, there's still a lot of times when you feel burned out, but it's always anytime I ever start feeling like that, and it must be the energy, God sending something. There's always an email that comes or someone that reaches out to me and says, hey, man, I really appreciate you creating this space for us in this organization. This is great. I felt like I was on an island. Now I feel like I found my tribe, my community. This is great. I really thank you for it. And that right there, I'm like, all right, I'm back in the game. You keep going, right? It re-energizes me.
Those
and
things
you're
help.
right. Like, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said that actually helps. Like just hearing someone say like, yo, I see you. I appreciate you. It's like those flowers, they really do help.
Yeah. And I kind of lost my place there, but yeah, you're right. No, it does help. It helps a lot. And because you got everyday life going on, you have a job, and devoting time to something else, it could not only is it a time suck at times, it's draining. So I'll say, we appreciate everything that you do and all your efforts and your leadership. at Twin Cities. We love having you as part of the organization. And I'm glad that you feel that way and you feel, ready to inspire the next person that comes behind, because that's what's needed. And for me, it's like, there's those moments, those valleys, but then those peaks are so high. But in those valleys, there's times where you want to kind of get out. And for me, it's just like, well, I got to keep going, and like you said, paving this way and helping to provide access until this is no longer needed, right? Until we finally can say, all right, we no longer need BIT. We've done our job. There's, they're taking us seriously. We found our path in tech. I think we have a seat at the table now. Like that's when I feel like it's going to be time for me to walk away once that happens, right? Some of the things that your chapter is doing to help us stop the divide, right? Like that's our tagline.
Absolutely. So I say it boils down to three industries: workforce development, gaming, and now the creator economy. Minnesota, we are definitely not the number one state when it comes to technology, but we are an artsy town, an arts and culture town. So we're bridging art, tech, and culture and starting to like lead in that space. And so the Tech Hub is our baby. It's like our adopted initiative here. So we do a lot of initiatives around career pathways for non-traditional talent, focusing on the youth and women, entering career pathways with that and partnering with programs and companies for that. I would say that would be the biggest one. And now, since I'm tapped into the art scene, we're actually getting ready to launch the XR Immersive Creator Program for our creators here in Minnesota that do a lot of work in the scene. So partnering with different art schools and other individuals, and letting them know, like, there's a career pathway for you. Like, you can do something in tech here. So we're trying to connect more with the community more and bringing them into tech. And following that, we're also exploring work with second chance program for those who might have felonies or criminal backgrounds. And so we're working out a pathway there. But we're anything that you can think of when it comes to Web3. Minneapolis is quickly growing into that. And we're also, even in the gaming industry, we're starting to build out career pathways. I think we're starting to have a growing market now in the gaming industry, from esports to indie game development. We're growing. So I'm excited to be a face representing three big industries here. And we're the ones who's creating pathways into a career and as entrepreneurship with that.
That's pretty dope. So how many members do you all have in the Twin Cities chapter?
I want to say that we have roughly around like 150, if I remember saying that.
Okay.
Give or take,
Nice.
by roughly like over 100 for sure. And at our key events, we have really good attendees. Come out like more than like 20 to 40 people that come out. So one thing about our chapter, we like to expand through strategic partnerships. So with our key sponsor, Arctic Wealth, we do an annual Amplify event where we bring in all the ERGs together to talk all things tech.
Yeah.
We just recently partnered with Nesby to do a social event, and we're trying to partner with more local communities out there.
Nice. And that's good to hear that you're partnering. I think a few of our other chapters are doing some things with NASB. I think it's good, especially, and I talked about this on the last podcast. I think it's good to start showing that unity amongst Black organizations, especially with the current like attacks on DE and I initiatives. Like they're coming after companies that are some of these like venture companies that are allocating money to Black founders. Are coming after them. They're trying to sue them in court. They're passing laws to strike down DE and I and things like that. And companies are actually scared. Like they're pulling back funds and everything like that. So I think you're right in saying that, like, if that space, that place at the table is not there, we have to start creating these things ourselves. And I think one of the ways to do that is through these strategic partnerships with other Black-led organizations, so that I think there's always power in unity and community. So it's good to see that that's happening with your chapter as well. Um,
I like that
last and final question.
unity.
Go ahead.
I like that unity and community.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, look, that's what Bit was built off of. Like it, people see Bit now and they are like, oh my God, you got this huge organization and blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's not how it started. It started just because I wanted community around Black people in tech. And our community started online at first, and it was just a small group of us just chatting and having fun and everything like that. And now it's this this global thing. But we've always kept community at the core of it, and I think that is what separates us from some other organizations, is that it grew organically, it grew through community, and it grew through trust, right? And I think that differentiates us from a lot of organizations that come up now, because we still, when you go to BitCon, you still feel that intimate community feel, right? And you have you form relationships and network with people that actually feel like real relationships, and they feel close, right? So we're going to continue with that. Like that's one thing that I never want to change about what Bit is doing. As long as we continue to have that community feel, then I'm okay. So what's next for you and Bit Twin Cities?
I was telling myself this a week ago that since I'm tapped into the art scene and this is our culture, I'm wanting to really expand that and be a leader in that space. So those would be the three themes that you will hear me say over and over. I say immersive storytelling through art, tech, and culture. I think I'm going to change it and say like something around narratives, because I think it's important to really control the narrative. And I got that from Blacks in Tech. Like we have to control the narrative of what is seen here. So I think launching XR Immerse is going to be a really big component of that, like creating like that first Web3 creator type program that's really creating the blueprint of how we are creating culture for Black people, and like we said, like creating tables for people to sit in, and really working on that workforce development. So we do a soft launch of the Career Pathways program in 2 weeks with the Community Tech Hub. So that'll be our first pilot of like ushering that in there, and actually with Blacks in Tech, thanks to Dennis, that we're issuing out over 100 Grow with Google certificates for those who come through the program. They can get certified. I think some of that is with cybersecurity, UX design, IT support, and we have other up and coming programs like artificial intelligence as well. And I'm working with a local, that's what I love too. We're working with local startups and local founders to help build these initiatives. So we're tapping into our networks. I'm excited to be working with a local group of men who just graduated college, and we're working with them to build out a career pathways in blockchain, whether you want to be a developer or build apps. So I'm excited. So I'll say that would be the two things, is that we're really expanding on that creator program initiatives and the career pathways. And we have the creator accelerator that'll be launching soon. So announcements will go out. And we will also be doing our first hackathon that would be from July to October. And that will be introducing those individuals into Web3. So if you've never seen or never heard about blockchain and you're curious and don't want to be intimidated, then this will be a international hackathon, not just limited to the Twin Cities, and it's free.
Very nice.
and you get a chance to really grow your career for that. So a lot of fun stuff is really rolling out, and this isn't something we just planned in December. This is something that I've been working on for the past 2 years.
Thank you for your efforts and your leadership at Twin Cities. And, we're just happy to have you, a person, that like you, that inspires others and that inspires me as well. It's always good to see people with the boots on the ground doing fantastic things. And I wish you good luck in everything that you're doing with Web3, with Pipe Dream Ventures, and with Black Technology Twin Cities.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. I love doing this.
Thank you, Marlaina. Thank you, everyone, for checking out this episode of the Bit Tech Talk podcast. If you liked and saw what you heard, smash that like button and subscribe to our channel and stay in tune with us for our next episode. Until then, keep stomping the divide.